time to talk about artificial intelligence and the way it has begun running the world and how everybody's afraid of it. No. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence mixed in with Microsoft software, specifically an AI program called ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, in my opinion, is it's like a toddler of AI, let's say, right? Where it's brand new, but it's still impressing you. And according to ChatGPT, ChatGPT is a language generation model developed by OpenAI. It is based on the GPT architecture, which is a type of transformer-based neural network.
What does GPT stand for?
Generative Pre-training Transformer.
And OpenAI is the company that has created this specific product?
Yes.
Okay.
So it also says that the model is trained on a large data set of text and is able to generate human-like responses to a given prompt. ChatGPT can be used for a variety of natural language processing tasks, such as text generation, conversation simulation, language translation, and question answering. And I think, before I go on, this is the biggest difference between this and like your Google Home or Alexa or whoever it is, right? This is actually conversation. It answers back, and you can ask it questions as you would normally talk. So it's a little bit different. ChatGPT also says that one of its main advantages is its ability to generate highly coherent and fluent text, making it well suited for applications such as chatbots, virtual assistants, language-based games. It can also be fine-tuned for specific tasks and domains. It can also be integrated with various platforms and applications, which Microsoft is what do you say, Ken? They have the sole rights to ChatGPT?
You looked it up? So it looks like in 2019, Microsoft invested about $1 billion in OpenAI to help develop this. And they have exclusive rights to the GPT-3 product.
Which is this platform, the one that we've been using mostly. So the question is, what do you think? You think Microsoft is going to eventually integrate this into all their software? If they do, are you going to be able to give it like voice commands where we can say something like, hey, ChatGPT, open up Business Central. Let's say you're a new customer. Open up Business Central and configure it for a manufacturing company. Do you think it's ever going to get to that point?
Who knows?
I see the enthusiasm.
Well, what's curious is like right now, we've been kind of playing around with this today as we're getting ready for the podcast, right? Finding out about rice lager, all that fun stuff. But you're just on chat.openai.com, right?
Yep.
And just typing in questions, and it's kicking back responses. So it's free.
It's free.
Now.
Yeah, it's free.
So the question is, does it remain free? Is there any benefit of taking this and embedding it into another product? Right? So I'm sure there is. How that gets done, who only knows, right? Like chatbots, they said, like, so maybe it's the front end is a chatbot, but behind the scenes, it's providing the responses.
Yeah. Yeah, I see this as like the new Cortana for Microsoft. Microsoft kind of had a failed experience with Cortana, but this is obviously on another level. And I think if Microsoft doesn't build an integration for ChatGPT, somebody's going to build one, an integration for Business Central with ChatGPT. Somebody is going to build one. Lately, I've been looking into all the things that have been built off of this ChatGPT platform. And the AI, there is probably, 1,000 different AI bots associated already with ChatGPT. Okay. And it's only had access since, people since December.
Yeah, and what this looks like here, it says that if you're going to use their API, then there is a fee, which is based on the number of requests that are made and the amount of time that is compute time used to generate the results. So, and then there's the free usage tier, and I guess what we're using here.
Yeah. And what's pretty amazing is I read, and don't quote me on this, but right now ChatGPT 3 is pulling from something like 15 to 20 million sources or whatever. The next version is supposed to pull from, I think they said 750 million sources. So it's going to go from a toddler to a teenager, maybe even a young adult pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep. But me personally, I can see this working really well with Business Central. I think as a virtual assistant, it can assist employees with tasks like scheduling, inventory management, order tracking. You can use it to, if you have a business, to create automated responses to, frequent questions your customers have. So, for instance, I put in there, just to see what it says. I said, what steel is used to manufacture an O-ring? Knowing that, in my head, O-rings are all pretty much rubber. And it said, O-rings are typically made from rubber or synthetic elastomer, not steel. And it told me all the different types of rubbers and whatnot. So it's there to help answer questions pretty fast. Eventually, maybe use it for data automation, where an example could be inputting customer information or order details into actually Business Central. Marketing campaigns, obviously, this is going to kill every content writer's job that's out there. Let's see what else we got. Reports, ChatGPT can generate, analyze all your data in Business Central and create financial reports for you. Obviously, it's going to be able to help users. You might be able to say, how do I create a sales quote? It'll give you the steps to it or whatnot. So those are some of the things that I thought of.
And the
developers one is pretty good too.
Yeah, same thing. Yep, support for developers and writing code. Right? Yep. Is that what you're talking about there? Where you can
it'll actually give you code.
Tell it, here's what I'd like this to do, and then it can write out the code for you. That you would need. That's really intriguing. But I like also on the reporting and analysis side, right? Like, hey, here's my sales data. You could say, hey, analyze my sales data. Yeah. Or analyze my financial statements and have it kick back results. Right. What it sees in the data.
Yeah. You can take it a step further and then say, based on this data, which for our customers is most likely to purchase or make a purchase, or some crazy question, and it'll answer it, which is
it'll try to answer.
Exactly.
It will answer.
Yeah. It just may not be right.
Is it the right answer? Right.
Ken's a big ChatGPT AI fan.
Well, everything you've said so far is great, right? Except the part about killing off all the content jobs.
The copywriters, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. But besides that, right, these are all positive things that, help get answers to questions, learn more information, right, making sure something is well written, analyzing data, helping users be more efficient, blah, 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 blah. But. Aren't there downsides to everything? So what are the known current limitations or issues like that have been seen with this? So it didn't take me long to find several things that were concerns of people. The first and the most important one on the list is that the answers are not always correct.
Absolutely.
And what's great is that what's not great, I'm being facetious. Is that
we know where you stand.
The answer is very compelling, right? It's a well-written answer that looks trustworthy, but can be completely wrong. And there's actually a term that I found repeated on multiple articles called a hallucination of fact and fiction, or a hallucinatory effect or whatever, which is actually, they've kind of rated it recently at 15 to 20% of the answers are not correct.
It's high.
But if you were to read it, you'd be like, oh, well, that has to be true.
So it's a salesperson's dream,
right? And imagine, the one of the scariest personal use cases is it's something to do with medical advice.
Yeah.
And if you're relying on this for answers about medications or medical advice,
or even how to treat a wound or something,
right? There's a lot of risk there. So that's the first thing, right? And to your point, maybe as the data sources go from 15 million to 100 million or billion or whatever, that will improve. The second one is that it is biased. It is biased. So there's been
Meaning?
tests that have done, meaning that what it's doing is its source of information, of data, is existing data available on the internet. And humans are responsible for putting data on the internet,
Gotcha.
by and large. So inherently, when it looks for answers, those answers may be biased towards one group or right, or another.
Not so biased, but not on purpose, right? Just biased because of that's the only data that's available.
Yeah, it's analyzing all of the data that's out there, and you ask it a question maybe about something, and the result may be it could be biased against women or a minority or right an ethnicity. Or a religious group. It could
Politics.
Be any political party, right? Any of those things, because it's looking at all the data out there, and there's a lot of real world examples of where companies have tried to use this, and it's they've generated biased results, and so that's like a Let's crack open a fourth or fifth beer after this podcast and talk about some of those things and the pros and cons of those. But we'll move on here. So that's the second thing. So it's wrong sometimes. It's biased. It's also not real time. Mm-hmm. So it's currently based on, I believe, data that was last refreshed up through the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Something like that. So anything recent like weather, traffic conditions, stock prices, ticket availability for a concert, things like that, it's not going to know. It's not in its universe of knowledge currently at least, right? It could be used to cheat. So
Absolutely.
Students at any level who have to write a report, they can they could have ChatGPT proofread their report for them and give them recommendations, or even worse,
write the report.
Write the whole damn report.
Yep.
Right.
30 seconds.
Yeah. So that is a legit concern there. And then the last kind of note I had, on the Debbie Downer side of the equation is that OpenAI is in charge. It's a closed system. OpenAI it determines how they train this, what data gets included,
right,
and whether or not one agrees with their methods, they're going to pursue this technology using their own goals.
Yes, to me this is the most scary thing out of your list, right? Because you see it all the time now, or you hear about it all the time with Meta and Google, and they're imposing their thoughts on you. You hear a lot about it too with news media, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whether you like CNN or Fox News, but they're all so the question is OpenAI going to become a propaganda wing for something? Hopefully not, you know what I mean? But it's run by people. People have biases.
Yeah, and it is the ultimate. What'd you say? The ultimate the ultimate risk. I think that there's examples out there where people have asked legitimate questions. And the answers that they've gotten back from the AI tools is pretty unsettling.
It can be. Yeah.
Right? In terms of, I think, was one of them ultimately, yes, we're going to take over the world and eliminate the humans.
Yeah.
Well,
there's stories, there were, I don't know if it might have been Facebook where they had two AI bots conversing with each other, and they actually wrote its new language because they said the English language is very inefficient. That's kind of scary.
So then they could communicate with each other, but no one else could understand.
So they had to be unplugged.
Yeah. No, those are, Elon Musk has and others,
and Neuralink and everything.
Pretty relatively intelligent people have stated that there is risk involved with this.
Huge risk.
So
question to you though. Are you for or against AI? Let's not put gray, right? Let's just say you're either for, let's say AI in 10 years where it's fully developed, fully capable. You think it's going to be good or bad for people?
I'm still, I don't yet have an opinion. Ultimately, I guess, progress is going to progress. So things are going to change. I think what they need to do is they need to, really have some guardrails on it and be careful with it. If you look at a very good example is the internet.
Yeah.
Is the internet a positive or a negative overall? I don't think anyone's going to argue that the internet hasn't led to an improved quality of life for millions and billions of people around the world, right? Yet there are downsides to it.
The tools.
There's whatever. There's a lot of downsides to it.
Yeah.
And it has negatively impacted society in several ways.
Yeah.
But you can't, right? I don't know that you can look at that and say, well, then we should have no internet, right? Maybe it's the same type of thing with this, that this is going to be a part of our world. It's how much and to what extent.
I actually think this is going to be bigger than the internet, right? Because it's going to encompass everything the internet has, right? You'll just ask it whatever question you want, and it's going to be able to do things for you physically, which, once it's put into like a robot or whatever, you know what I mean? Have you ever seen iRobot with Will Smith?
Nope.
You've got homework, Ken. That was made.
I saw WALL-E.
Oh, you saw WALL-E? I didn't see WALL-E, but I mean the cartoon, right? I know you're talking about it. But yeah, I think it was made in 2004. But its depiction of the future with artificial intelligence and everything, it's dead on. That's us in 10 years. You can see the progression. So
yeah,
it's not always good in that movie either.
I'll have to check that out.
So while we're sitting here, I asked ChatGPT to write a Business Central song, and within 30 seconds, it wrote a Business Central song. Choruses, verses.
Yeah. Well, are you going to read it? I mean, how good is it? Yeah. What do you got? What's the chorus?
You want to sing it?
Well, if you have a tune, if you have a melody.
No. So the chorus is Business Central, oh how grand, helping us take control of our land. We'll streamline your operations and make our customers understand. Interesting.
What's verse 2?
Production orders and bombs, work centers and inventory tombs. What's a tomb?
I have no idea.
It's not a TOOMS. From routing to cost accounting, Business Central is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
From routing to cost accounting. I love it.
I mean, it put it together. I'll give it that, but I'm not sure if that's a platinum album right there.
But, for how fast it can do something, I mean, so I just typed in create a Business Central rap, and literally 30 seconds you're going to have an entire song.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm saying it's doing its thing.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Now, we did a real world test earlier, and this is so Business Central people, listen up. I said, how is the routing link code used in Business Central?
Yeah.
I believe is the question I asked. And it gave a pretty long multi-paragraph answer to the question, which was flat out wrong.
Yeah, but it's interesting because you can tell it took a long time for it to respond.
It was just wrong. And if you had read it, though, and you didn't know better, you would be convinced that, that's what a routing link code is. It was just wrong. So that was the first actual test that we did. Business Central feature functionality. Well, the second one we asked it was how is the product inactivity code used in Business Central? And this one took a while, and it spun and it spun. It dropped it, its little cursors flash in there. Finally, it kicked back an answer about what the product in activity code does in Business Central. Again, multiple paragraphs of answer. Of course, there is no such thing as the product in activity code in Business Central. Yeah. So once again, it tried its damnedest to provide a nice result. But the truth is there is no product in activity code.
Right. So it's probably pulling from somebody who created an extension or add-on called that. But it can't distinguish between whether it's a Business Central feature or if it's somebody else who just created it.
Which is one of, to your points earlier, you said it would be nice if it showed you its sources.
Yes.
I would say not only nice, I would say almost
mandatory.
Required.
Yeah.
Like that you can click somewhere and see what are the top 10 sources that it may have pulled from.
Just so you know, if it's legit or not. Kind of like Wikipedia, where Wikipedia lists their resources.
Yeah. So that was our first couple stabs at it. Then we asked it a couple softballs. Yeah. Lobbed a couple softballs up there, and it was able to provide answers that probably from Microsoft Learn. Yeah. Which you probably could have just went there and done it just as easily. But
it's interesting, right? For the first AI tool to be put out that actually you can talk to. I mean, it's only version 1. Think back what your first image of the internet is.
No doubt. No doubt. This is beta version 1.0, right? Usually user adoption doesn't really start to kick in till version 4.0. The early adopters show up at 2.0, some additional people at 3.0, but 4.0 is like mass adoption.
Yeah.
Maybe, so yeah, there's a ways to go, but yes, it's pretty cool that you can just go try it out.
Yeah, I think so. Personally, I like it. I'm on board with AI. I think there's no getting around it. I think you're either going to embrace it or you're going to be left behind. So,
or you embrace it and it leaves you for dead.
Could be. I love technology, so I could be screwed either way.
This is fun. This is a fun conversation. We probably could sit here for another hour and have fun with this. But so I'm sure everyone's got other things to do.